Order.
Yeah, she's coming.
It's 7:55 PM. Trustee Lawrence?
Here.
Trustee Lawler?
Here.
Trustee Leafblad is here, but she will be back in a minute. Trustee Healy?
Here.
Trustee Katsinas is ill tonight. Trustee Malani?
Here.
Mayor Dodge.
Here.
Okay, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Number 3, approval of the August 18th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Lawler.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of August 18th, 2025.
Second? A new second?
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any corrections, comments? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Lawler?
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence?
Aye.
Trustee Leafblad?
Say aye.
Here.
Minutes, say aye.
Oh, minutes?
Yeah.
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
Proceed to proclamations and appointments. Advisory Board appointments.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Lawler.
I move to consent the appointments by President Dodge as fully referenced below.
Do you want to try and read all the names as you have to?
God, it's hard to read.
Just for background, we're appointing 21 folks tonight to various committees, so it's an ongoing process.
Okay, we're appointing people to AI and Information Technology Board, America 250 Committee, Conservation Sustainability Advisory Board, Cultural Arts Advisory Board, Grounds and Recreation Facilities, Heritage Sites Advisory Board, Sports Advisory, Veterans Advisory Board. That's it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Lawler?
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence?
Aye.
Trustee Leafblad?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
We'll move to number 5, pre-scheduled citizens and visitors, Labor Union Appreciation Month resolution. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Lawrence.
I move to adopt a resolution entitled, "A Resolution Recognizing Labor Union Appreciation Month."
Is there a second?
Oh, second.
Jeff, 1 second, please.
1 minute.
I need the resolution.
I'm sorry, did we get a second on that?
Yes.
Yes, Dina.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to have to put on my glasses. This print is small, so. No, we're good. We're good. A resolution recognizing Labor Union Appreciation Month. We have a number of folks from our labor unions here in Orland. Orland Park has been blessed for a lot of years. We have a number of labor leaders that live in town as well, so I appreciate everyone being here. The resolution is as follows. Whereas the village of Orland Park is home to hardworking men and women whose skills, dedication, and innovation strengthen our communities and drive our economy. And whereas organized labor has played a vital role in securing fundamental rights and protections for working people, including child labor laws, the 40-hour work week, weekends, overtime pay, paid vacation, minimum wage, sick leave, parental leave, workplace safety, employment non-discrimination, pensions, Social Security, and access to health care. Whereas generations of workers and their unions have fought to advance fairness, dignity, and justice in the workplace, and their efforts have built a sustained and strong middle class that's the backbone of our state and nation. Whereas union members, including educators, public safety officers, construction worker, trade people, healthcare professionals, transportation workers, and countless others continue to contribute immeasurably to the prosperity, safety, and well-being of our communities. And whereas these contributions remind us that the rights and protections enjoyed by our workers today must be preserved, strengthened, and passed on to future generations. And whereas Labor Union Appreciation Month provides an opportunity to honor the historic achievements of organized labor and to recognize the ongoing dedication of union members. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and Village Board of the Village of Orland Park do hereby proclaim the month of September 2025 as Labor Union Appreciation Month and encourages all residents to join in programs, events, and activities that celebrate the invaluable contribution of working families and organized labor to the state and union. So thank you. I just don't know if there's any comments, but I'll say something I've often said, which is union wages put me through college. So I appreciate what the labor unions do for this country. I don't know if anybody else had any comments.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Lawrence?
in celebration of our Labor Day holiday, I want to express my appreciation for the contributions of all workers who help our village thrive. From our dedicated and talented municipal employees to all of those in the private sector, whether you are organized or not, I believe that everyone has an important role in the success of our community. Furthermore, I recognize the historic importance of labor unions in securing basic human rights and safety protections. Likewise, I respect that there is a diversity of views on labor unions and on this holiday. Today, I ask all of you listening to reflect on the value of hard work, the dignity of all varieties of labor, and the principle of mutual respect for the labors of all others. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other comments or questions? Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Healy.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to say that the trade unions are a valuable asset to this community, and we have one of their apprentice schools here, Local 597, that I'm aware of, and just on the border of Orland Park. Those apprenticeship schools do such a valuable thing to society because they give kids an alternative to going to college. And they can, after a couple of years at helping raise these kids and making them into men, they go out and they're able to get a job, earn money. Oftentimes enables them to buy a house, get a family, and be a vital part of the community. So I do believe that. However, I'd like to chastise some of the union leadership because we look at this function of today's society based on some of these democratic socialists that are out there. Brandon Johnson's, says we got the baddest unions in the country here in Illinois. He's been put in there by union money, Pritzker union money, letting the borders open union money. I just wish that they'd spend their money on a hospital or whatever to help all society instead of helping these people who have let this state, wind down in such a miserable case of law and order. I just would, pray that they can come to their senses and not help this socialist, communist people like this Brandon Johnson, Mike Madigan, Preckwinkle, and others, continue their reign of terror. Thank you.
There any other comments from the board? Okay, with that, I appreciate what the labor movement has done, so thank you.
All
right.
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee. Hang on. So we have an item on our agenda for non-scheduled citizens. I think most people are here for item 5, one of the items under 5. So with the board, I'd like to take the non-scheduled citizens first. So I'll move to take that in that order. We'll have the comments first.
Mr. Mayor? I move to take the non-scheduled citizens first.
We need to vote on the labor.
Oh, we have to vote.
We didn't vote?
No.
Well, I guess we got excited about talking to one another. All right, never mind. Do you have a motion and a second?
Yes.
So we'll call the roll. Now it's official.
I just have to say I'm proud to call for this motion. Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Leafbladge.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
Okay. Do I have a motion to move the non-scheduled citizens and visitors for agenda-specific public comment before we call for the next resolution?
Is there a second? Or a motion and a second?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to call the non-scheduled citizens before we take the next agenda item.
Second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Leafbladge.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Okay.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye. Mr. Zagar?
Hello, everyone. Good evening, Mayor and Trustees. My name is Yusuf Zigar, and I'm proud to say I was raised here in Orland Park. I stand before you tonight on behalf of a community that has long called this village home. For too long, under the previous administration, our voices were dismissed, but we organized, we stood together, and in record numbers, we turned out to vote. Because we believe Orland Park could be a place where every resident feels and sees and are valued. This resolution is not about a conflict overseas. It is about us here at home. Many Orland Park families here have loved ones directly affected. Our community feels the impact every day in our schools, our workplaces, and our places of worship. What happens here touches our hearts here. The human impact of this crisis is devastating. Families face starvation, children lack the most basic needs, and the entire population faces constant bombardment. To pass this resolution is to say clearly that Orland Park has compassion for human life, and that we stand in solidarity with our residents who are grieving. This is also a positive step forward. We welcome this administration's willingness to act, joining cities and communities across the country who have spoken up for justice and peace. By passing this resolution, Orland Park shows leadership, standing for unity, dignity, and humanity. This is the village that I was raised in, a community that does the right thing. Tonight, we have the chance to affirm their legacy and to show that Orland Park is a place of empathy, courage, and hope. Thank you all.
Thank you. Sasson Jabber?
Good evening. My name is Dr. Sosan Jaber. The Palestinian poet Mahmoud Darwish once wrote, "On this land, we have a life that makes life, we have what makes life worth living. What makes life worth living is dignity. It is knowing that other humans see you as fully human and believe that you should have the self-determination and rights of other humans." Every morning, Palestinians all over the diaspora scroll through what has been called the most live-streamed genocide in history. We look at mangled bodies of children who are the only survivors of their families, humans under rubble, humans starved, a genocide that has only prevailed due to our tax dollars and through our political support as a country. It is up to those with a conscience to do everything in their power to use our voices and power to say, "Not on our watch." I hope that this evening we can take a step towards justice and compassion by passing a ceasefire resolution. Our Palestinian community in Orland Park, my community, has carried wounds that extend far beyond the devastation overseas. We know too well that violence doesn't only happen with bombs and bullets. Violence also comes in words that dehumanize, insult, and erase. Not long ago, a former mayor of this village, along with members of this board, used their positions in public office to demean Palestinians. Their words struck like weapons, leaving fissures in Orland Park, and branding members as less than human. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, mothers, businessmen, and homeowners were told we should partake in, quote, the American experiment. Some of those people with roots in Orland Park and in America as old as members of this board, all who are contributing members of this community. That pain hasn't healed. Those remarks did not vanish, and neither did their impact. They settled in the hearts of families and children and the elders of Orland Park community from all backgrounds. This is why tonight matters. The ceasefire resolution, while symbolic, is far from empty. It is a bridge towards healing, a bridge towards recognition, a bridge towards validating that our struggles and humanity matter, not just within the walls of our community centers, but in the civic life of this village we call home. Rifat al-Hariri, the beloved Palestinian writer who was killed in Gaza, left us with words that echo louder in his absence. If I must die, let it bring hope, let it bring peace. We cannot bring him back, nor the thousands of lives lost, but we can honor his plea by making sure that our voices here in the country backing this genocide are not silent and that we stand on the right side of history. Let our children years from now look back and know that when justice called, we answered. That when lives were on the line, we chose courage over silence, and that in Orland Park, humanity, not hate, had the final word. Thank you.
Thank you. Johar Hamdan.
Good evening. I pretty much want to share, echo what the two predecessors have shared.
I'm sorry for the tape. Could you
Sure.
identify yourself?
Oh, sorry. My name is Johar Hamdan, and start out by saying I echo what the two predecessors have stated, that this is not some distant conflict on a far-off map. For many families in Orland Park, it's where our families live. In Gaza, we have cousins, siblings, friends, and when we contact them, we wait for them to see our WhatsApp messages, and sometimes we find out if they're gone because there's no replies. And what happens reverberates here in our schools, in our workplaces, in our places of worship. So to be clear, this is a humanitarian catastrophe. Entire families are being wiped off the map. They're starving to death, and there's no medical care available. They're dying from infections that are otherwise very treatable. This resolution isn't about taking sides in a conflict. It's about taking the side of human dignity and compassion. It's about standing with our residents whose hearts are breaking. And by speaking up, Orland Park joins many cities across the country who refuse to look away. And this resolution is a step towards justice, unity, and moral clarity. It shows that our village understands the value of life and that it's universal, and that silence in the face of such suffering is not an option. Thank you all for this opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you for your comments. Next item, please.
Resolution supporting humanitarian relief and peace and recognizing civilian suffering.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Leafblad.
I move to adopt version 2 of a resolution entitled Resolution Calling for an Immediate Ceasefire, Humanitarian Aid, and Lasting Peace.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Any comments or questions from the board?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Leafblad.
I just, as I was reading this, it occurred to me that when we go to, when we have a neighbor or a friend or a coworker who loses a family member, and we go to the wake or the funeral, we don't go there and remind them that there's another funeral going on down the hall, or that, many other people that we don't know may have died that very same day. What we do is we sit with them, and we sit with them in their grief, and we recognize their pain. And I believe that that's what we need to do.
Comments, questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Lawrence.
I am in favor of limiting village resources to local issues and avoiding involvement in issues between other nations. That having been said, I recall that a couple of years ago, the village of Orland Park took a stand on the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. According to village records, at the request of Trustee Katsinas, and at the direction of then Mayor Pekow, the village hosted a humanitarian supplies collection project in support of the people of Ukraine and Poland. Now, collecting supplies only consumed a small amount of village resources, mostly just labor hours, helping with the collection process. Likewise, voting on a resolution and sending messages to elected officials would consume even less of village resources. This is not about village resources. I believe that collecting supplies and voting on a resolution are different ways to accomplish a similar goal. That goal being for our village leadership to show support for village residents who are affected by the devastation that directly impacts their relatives and friends. With this resolution, village leadership advocates for a ceasefire, ending a humanitarian crisis and working towards lasting peace. In doing this, we join outspoken leaders from around the world, including President Trump and Pope Leo XIV. As such, I believe it is acceptable to make a village-sponsored resolution to support members of our community regarding a conflict that has been devastating the countries of their heritage. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Trustee Malani?
Well, first of all, thank you all for your persistence in bringing this issue to us. And most likely, you're going to achieve your vote or your goal tonight, whether I vote yes or no. So congratulations on your efforts. But as I mentioned to some of you in the past where you were in here, I have compassion for the lives that are lost on both sides. I think everybody should. However, I don't believe this resolution is suitable for our local board, and I'll stand by that. Give me a second to explain why. Because I think it would best be most effective to take it up with our state and federal governments because, first of all, we've had trouble getting their attention when we're just trying to deal with other issues inside of Orland Park. And given that, I'm skeptical that they're going to act based on recommendations from the Village of Orland Park, 7 people on this board. I previously mentioned to some of you that this history of this conflict isn't something that I'm equipped to delve into. I don't know enough. However, I understand the local dynamics here in Orland Park. And as someone who's sitting up here, I believe my role is most effective at the community level. This is where we're at. I can make an impact here by influencing decisions based on our businesses that come to our village, developing housing options, and bringing amenities that improve our quality of life here in Orland Park. And let's be honest, I know hate is lurking. It's online, it's on Facebook, it's on Nextdoor, and it exists here in our community. But let's tackle it here in Orland Park instead of tolerating that. I think it's time for us to promote peace and understanding here in our community where we can truly make a difference. As someone who's built relationships with my friends, families, and neighbors from the Middle East, I've talked to them and I understand the importance of unity and acceptance. I visit with them. I share meals with them. I share time together with these people. I visit stores. I visit coffee shops and bakeries in the area. Yesterday, I got to go to Al Hamawi, great place, right? And it was heartwarming. People were coming together from multiple backgrounds and experiences. They were sharing their stories. They're laughing. They're enjoying each other's company in a warm and welcoming atmosphere. In fact, it's likely that no one even knew who the heck I was or even noticed that I was there. But that's an example of what peace, understanding, and acceptance really is. We shouldn't be able to look at each other and see this is our culture and this is who we are. We come together as Americans and we come together as humans. And I've said that as friends and as neighbors and as families. So what would I resolve? I believe our efforts should really focus on spreading the peace and understanding and acceptance right here in Orland Park. Let's foster a culture of unity among our residents here in Orland Park rather than pursuing this resolution where, in my opinion, we will not be able to have any impact or control on the state and federal level. So I suggest that that is where you really need to focus your efforts because maybe they will be able to do something. I just don't feel that we can do something here in Orland Park. So.
Trustee Healy?
Mr. Mayor, when I was elected 6.5 years ago, you get to have a judge or somebody swear you in, and I elected to have a friend of mine, Mohammed Gauss, the first, at that time, the only Muslim judge, I believe, on the Cook County bench, swear me in. I wanted Mo, I wanted to show the community that Mo is just a great guy and an accomplished guy. And I think he is a credit to the Muslim community and a role model for not only that community, for my own children. He's a role model. He's it has nothing to do with religion. It's just a good guy. When we were elected, we were not, this thing about making decisions about national topics, it was not on the job description when we applied for it. This is a local thing. I'm not prepared. I'm not a good person on these international things. I don't know what I'm talking about. I read a lot about, the Jewish religion. I don't understand all that, their holidays and all that. I know that, but if someone had been a relative of someone whose baby was, killed, to put it mildly, on October 7th, I would say there's no way I could live with it. By the same token, someone who's bombed in Gaza, how do you live with that? How does anybody live with that? I just don't know the answer, and I don't. What I've decided to do is, I'm going to vote no on this, but I am going to make a donation to the, and it's not going to be a big one, or I can't afford a big thing, but make a cash donation, because in that, can I say cash talks, bullshit walks, is an old saying, but put money, or to make a donation from me on the, to a Jewish as well, and an equal amount to an Arab thing for health and food related things. I just think that rather than going through a litany of this and that, I just think I respect, especially that young lady who spoke. Her words were very, appropriate. I don't disagree with her, but I just wish, I just don't think there's a role. I'm not prepared to make a big decision. My thinking doesn't really matter, but these national issues, I hope we can just stop, voting on them from here on. It's, let's have a food drive, whatever. I mean, fine, let's go, but have at it. But, the only thing I can do to help solve the thing is make a small donation. Thank you.
Trustee Lawler?
Mr. Mayor. So first of all, Trustee Milani, I really liked everything you said. I think it was well put. This is a tough issue, and I know I can't imagine being in your places and having to deal with what you've dealt with. All I can say is that I hope moving forward with this resolution that we do find peace. I really hope that in the future in this world we can solve our issues with respect and dialogue and not bombs and guns. So, I know it's important to our community. I hope that you will push for your community to push for peace as well. I just want, I really pray that this stops, because what I will say is I don't agree with what went on October of 23, but at the same time, it's been a very disproportionate response from Israel, and what they've done is, horrible in my opinion. And, it's got to stop. And, we have to find peace, and young women and children should not have to bear the brunt of bad decisions made by a few. And I hope moving into the future that everybody can find peace and a way to live with each other. So I will be supporting this resolution. So.
Is there anybody else on the board who wants to make a comment? If not, I just have, before we call the roll, we're going to read the resolution so everybody knows exactly what we're passing here. I just have two comments, and this, in my mind, is a way of showing support for the community. That's what this is, right? You can see the grief, you feel the pain, you hear the stories, and it opens up your mind at different perspectives. So that's what this is primarily. And I'm not usually given to quoting President Trump, but I agree with him on this point, which is it's time to stop the killing. And I think he said that a number of times in a number of crises, not the least of which is the Middle East, as well as Ukraine, Russia. So, this is straightforward, right? This is a way for the Village of Orland Park to support you. And so with that, Clerk Norwell, will you read this resolution?
I'd be happy to, Mayor. This is a resolution supporting humanitarian relief and peace and recognizing civilian suffering. Whereas the Village of Orland Park is home to a diverse community, including many residents with deep familial and cultural ties to both Palestine and Israel. And whereas the village values compassion, human dignity, and the safety and protection of innocent civilians in all circumstances. And whereas the Orland Park is committed to supporting its residents impacted by these events and fostering understanding, solidarity, and unity within our community. And whereas the Village of Orland Park is home to one of the largest Palestinian and Arab communities in Cook County and the United States. And whereas the ongoing conflict in Gaza since October of 2023 has resulted in widespread civilian suffering, including hundreds of thousands of deaths and injuries in Palestine and thousands of deaths in Israel, along with the destruction of homes, hospitals, schools, and essential infrastructure, leaving millions of Gazans without access to food, clean water, or medical care. And whereas the majority of those affected in this conflict are women and children. And whereas, like the rest of the world, the Village of Orland Park recognizes the urgent need for humanitarian relief and the prevention of further civilian harm, and supports peaceful solutions that protect human life and dignity. And whereas the people of Orland Park recognize the urgency of expressing our concerns to our national government to do all it can do to end the impact on civilian populations and end this humanitarian crisis. And therefore, be it resolved by the President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Orland Park that we urge the United States government and international authorities to take decisive diplomatic action and that ends military operation and supports a just and lasting peace that ensures safety, freedom, and dignity for Palestinians and Israelis. Urge immediate humanitarian aid through the safe, sustained, and unconditional delivery of food, water, medical supplies, and other necessities to all affected civilians in Gaza in order to prevent further loss of life. Call for the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. Call for an immediate end to hostilities to prevent further loss of life and suffering while a lasting solution can be found. And finally, to direct that copies of this resolution be sent to the President and the Orland Park representatives in the United States Congress.
That's the resolution we'll be voting on. There's a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Oh, I'm sorry. Trustee Leafblatt.
Aye.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
No.
Trustee Milani.
And it's not dramatic suspense this time. It's not dramatic suspense this time. Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Let's press on with the agenda. Most of it's not that interesting, but you're welcome to stay. Next item.
We'll move on to accounts payable. Accounts payable August 19th, 2025 through September 2nd, 2025. Looking for approval.
That's about time. Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve the accounts payable August 19th, 2025 through September 2nd, 2025 in the amount of $2,785.48.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Liebler?
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence?
Aye.
Trustee Lawler?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
I can't believe people didn't want to stick around for the consent.
We'll move on to the consent agenda. First, A, payroll for August 15th, 2025, looking for approval. B, approval of the Board of Trustees closed session minutes. C, SB Friedman Master Services Agreement. And D, St. Michael's cross-country meet.
Sir.
St. Michael's School.
Any corrections to the consent agenda, or is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Leaflet.
I move to approve items A through D of the consent agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Liebler?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence?
Aye.
Trustee Lawler?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
We'll move on to number 12, 2025 Neighborhood Road Improvement Program, change order number 2 and contract amendment B, Public Works.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Lawrence.
I move to approve and authorize the execution of change order number 2 and contract addendum B to the original contract dated March 4th, 2024 with Lindell Brothers, Inc. of Bensenville, Illinois for 2024 through 2026 Neighborhood Road Improvement Program to increase the 2025 contract amount by $235,000 for a new and not to exceed contract amount of $4,704,166.21 for fiscal year 2025, and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review.
Second.
So motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Liebler.
Aye.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
Development Services, a Weber Grill Restaurant, downtown Orland Park, Parcel H. Do we have
Mr.
a
Chairman?
motion?
Is there a motion? Trustee Malani.
Regarding case number 2025-0574, also known as Weber Grill Restaurant, downtown Orland Park, Parcel H, I moved to approve the staff recommended action as presented in the staff report to the Board of Trustees for this case, and I move to adopt an ordinance entitled Ordinance Approving Site Plan, Landscape Plan, and Elevations, Weber Grill, downtown Orland Park, Parcel H, 9704 143rd Street.
Is there a second that can be matched with that announcer voice?
Second.
Second. Oh,
There's a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Malani.
Looking forward to this, I think it's going to be a welcome addition to the downtown Orland Park project, and based on the conversations I've had with others and I've seen on social media, I think this is going to be a hit. So thank you for bringing it to us.
It's underway. All right, there's a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Liebler.
aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
Passes. Okay. Next is 17101 Wolf Road Purchase and Sales Contract.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Lawler.
I move to approve the purchase and sale contract for 17101 Wolf Road and move to authorize the execution the purchase and sale contract for 17101 Wolf Road.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
A member of the public spoke to me and wanted to come up and talk about this, but I don't know that they signed up. So,
Does anybody want to address the board about this issue? Come on.
So, and not to slight it, if I'm out of.
Need you to identify yourself.
Oh, sorry. John Nugent, 15060 South 81st Court. On the pre-scheduled and the non-scheduled, I think you kind of mixed them and, because,
No, we took them in a different order, but go ahead.
right, but then, which the agenda for the resolution was fine. Anyway, so on 171 Wolf, I guess it's a done deal. But my thoughts, I've been to all the meetings, I've gone to everything. I do agree with the idea, you know, and I understand what Steve's been doing for years, and the strategy of acquiring the property, you know, breaks down the other areas so we can do forcible annexations. I understand all that, obviously I'm on plan, I've seen all these things, I know, and go from there. Things I try to present with Mr. O'Grady, and then I ask questions when Mr. Welch and company were next door, still remain. And I mean, it's about, it looks like it's a done deal. I read the contract in your agenda. You know, we're paying 1.3 million. They overpaid at 1.2 million. And we could argue that it's not. I guess you had an appraisal. I personally don't think it's worth it. I still think there's ways to fight it. Things that I asked at the township meeting and the township attorney said she would look into. I don't think that they have, but I don't think we fought the county enough. From the Gallagher and Henry post agreement from 30 years ago, which if anyone here knows about it, you do, Mr. Mayor. I think there was a lot of avenues to fight the development, fight the rights, to accept the fact that we had to accept them. And, you know, former Mayor Welch saying that we might have to have cannabis or strip clubs and all that the zoning was generous. I think he was wrong. And I was pointing out to the township and their attorney, because it was still in their venue, that floodplain and floodway developments, they don't have all the rights they have. Mr. Welch claimed at the public hearing next door that they had already spent $200,000, okay? They're not in the village, so they didn't go through us for permitting. And I asked for FOIA information and such, I didn't file a FOIA, but how did they spend $200,000? And I said, if there's any village that's an expert of what you could do in floodway and floodplain, it's Midlothian. Why don't we speak to Midlothian? But in a floodway, they cannot spend whatever they wanted. They said their plan was to spend $300,000 to $500,000 additional. You understand construction costs. In a floodway and floodplain, Steve, they're not allowed to spend that much money on that property. There were ways to stop this project. There's ways that we can maybe still work with this project. I do agree that, in principle, that by acquiring this property and we chop it up and we have the ability to do forcible annexations, that we can still control flood planning that we would like to do, which the village has been doing for years and is doing a phenomenal job at. I do believe that, you know, we serve the residents of this part of town. Obviously, I don't live on that side of town, but by not having a repo lot, and as you even said, Mayor, I'd love to welcome them. Obviously, they picked up this property because they thought they could take advantage of the village, not village zoning issues, but they overpaid for something. They didn't do their homework. I don't think they're entitled to 1.3 million. And I think if we do acquire the property, we should look at avenues other than destroying it. As much as we think Wolf Road needs improvement there,
Finish your thoughts.
I think that we could keep the property, because if you annex it in, we still have control. We could sell this for maybe $650, you know, recoup half of it and put a productive business. Right now, that property pays $68,500 in property taxes. Prior, and with these guys, we would have achieved a lot of sales tax. We could have employed 3 to 5 people. Maybe the property should not be demoed. We can accomplish what we want and maybe resell the property with the zoning that the board feels is appropriate. Then we're getting a return. You were talking earlier, we get a return on our money. We didn't lose all of it. We can still accomplish our flood goals, you know, environmental concerns. I just, and then, I don't know, I didn't understand that we were jumping to buying it, but.
Thank you.
But you're gonna vote tonight, so,
Thank you.
thank you.
George, what was the appraised value for?
It was 1.2 million, and we also got the background environmentals with that.
Okay. There's a motion and a second, correct?
Yes.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Leafblack.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
Proceed to engineering, 94th Avenue and 159th Street, Phase 2 Design Engineering Intergovernmental Agreement with Cook County for Invest in Cook funding.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Malani.
I move to approve and authorize the execution of an intergovernmental agreement with Cook County for $150,000 of Invest Cook funding for Phase 2 design engineering for the 94th Avenue and 159th Street intersection safety improvement project, and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Krishid, can you do that announcer voice like Mike can? I love that, Mike. Oh, you got to add some levity.
I was an auctioneer in my former life.
There you go. Krishid, you had a couple of quick comments on this?
Sold. Mayor, we're here to talk about the McGinnis Loop bike path, and it's a project update. We are here for design amendment.
Rashid, it's the next item.
We're on 94th. You're ahead of yourself.
We're on 94th Avenue right now.
Do you have any quick questions on 94th Avenue? I think there's a motion and a second. I think we're all in favor of this, so.
The intersection improvement at 159th and 94th Avenue, that's what
That's
we're...
it? Okay, my apologies. It's a resolution for a grant application. That's what it is about.
And we all know the intersection needs it. Thank you, Krishid. Any other questions or comments? Motion and a second. Call the roll.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Leaflet.
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
Passes. We will proceed to McGinnis Slough Multi-Use Path Phase 1 Preliminary Engineering Contract Amendment Supplement Number 2.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Leafblad.
I move to approve and authorize the execution of change order number 5, Addendum E, to the professional services agreement dated August 26, 2021, with Baxter and Woodman for the McGinnis Slough Multi-Use Path Phase 1 Preliminary Engineering Services to increase the contract amount by $68,096 for the additional scope of services outlined in the attached supplement to proposal for a revised total not to exceed contract amount of $262,903, and move to approve the contract termination date to be extended to September 30th, 2026, and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts and change orders subject to village attorney review.
Second.
The motion and a second. Krishid.
So, Mayor, this is the McGinnis Loop bike path or multi-use path. This is an update, and so as you may know, but people don't, the red line that you see, that is the McGinnis Loop bike path. It starts on the east end at LaGrange Road, goes through the McGinnis Loop, predominantly through the ComEd corridor, the easement corridor, and then it turns south on Wolf Road, and that's where it terminates. Hopefully when we will expand the 143rd Street roadway, we will connect this bike path to the bike path that runs along 143rd. The reason for the amendment that we are here is coordination or design elements that was required by Forest Preserve. Just quickly, the green line that you see, that is the one that Forest Preserve wanted us to design, but that puts us in the Wolf Road right-of-way, which requires us to then deal with the stormwater flow along Wolf Road, which is quite a bit expensive. It was about $1 million that we had to deal with. So we requested and coordinated with them that the connection to the picnic area be moved further east, and that's the blue line that you see. So that is the new design, but it still requires some new design, some survey and coordination with ComEd as well as with Forest Preserve, and that is the additional fees that we are asking for. I already mentioned these details here, and the current schedule for the project is we want to wrap up Phase 1 in early next year, and then wrap up Phase 2 in 2027 and be in construction in 27-28 timeline.
Any comments or questions from the board for Krishid? Krishid, when do we think it'll be in a loop? When do we think we'll get the other phases done?
So that loop, are you talking about the loop along 143rd?
Yeah.
That is going to be our challenge to get funding for 143rd Street.
Okay, so work in progress.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, there's a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Leaflet.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
Proceed to finance. An ordinance creating a new Chapter 26, imposing a grocery tax of Title VII of the Orland Park Village Code.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Lawler.
I move to adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance creating Chapter 26 of Title VII of the Municipal Code, implementing a municipal grocery retailer's occupation tax and municipal grocery service occupation tax in the Village of Orland Park.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Leaflet.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
No.
Trustee Malani.
No.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
Motion passes. Ordinance amending Title I, Chapter 16, Section 1-16-7 of the Orland Park Municipal Code, incorporating changes pertaining to responsible bidder ordinance, RBO.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Leaflet.
I move to adopt an ordinance entitled Ordinance Amending Title I Administration, Chapter 16, Procurement, Section 1-16-7, Construction, Bidding, and Contracts, establishing criteria for the determination of a responsible bidder for village construction projects.
Second.
The motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Leaflet.
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
No.
Trustee Malani. Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
Motion passes. Proceed to fiscal year 2025 budget amendment number 3-2024 rollovers.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Lawrence.
I move to approve net expenditure increases in the general fund, $629,745.92. Increase capital improvement fund expenditures by $9,082,048.03. Recreation and Parks Fund expenditures by $124,390.22. Water and Sewer Fund expenditures by $898,909.47 in the amount of $10,735,093.64 as detailed in the fiscal year 2024 budget amendment number 3.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. George, it sounds like a lot of money. Do you have a quick explanation?
Yep, so every year we do a rollover. These are projects that weren't completed in the previous year. So we're at that point now that we've caught up with the audit. So we're doing the rollover, and then we have a couple of positions that we've added that was the consensus of the board to move forward with, and then some added taste costs, and then finally the property acquisition that was just approved.
Okay. There's a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Leaflet.
Aye.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, an ordinance amending appendices A and B to ordinance number 5963-6th Amendment.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Lawler.
I move to adopt an ordinance amending appendices A and B to ordinance number 5963, 6th Amendment.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Lawler.
Aye.
Trustee Leaflet.
Aye.
Trustee Lawrence.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Dodge.
Aye.
We'll proceed to non-scheduled citizens and visitors for public comment on items relevant to village business.
Is there anybody else who would like to address the board?
Proceed to board comments.
Board comments? Trustee Healy?
Mayor Dodge, thank you. I was, today, I would like to comment on that. I went to the rally today by the Tea Party at 4 o'clock and over at 143rd and LaGrange Road. Only citizens vote. 80% of the people surveyed agree with this, both, Republicans and Democrats obviously are participating in that, but only citizens vote. I can't, if I went to the union hall, wanted to vote for one of those union official jobs, they wouldn't let me. They say, what are you doing? You don't belong here. Or if I went to your school and said I wanted to vote for the class president, they say, get out of here. What are you doing? Why do we let non-citizens vote? Over the U.S., there's a lot of situations that it's easy for non-citizens to vote, and that's not the way it was supposed to be. And I don't know why some of these progressive states want non-citizens who are not vested in this country, who would like to see death to this country. Why in the world are we allowing them to vote? So only citizens vote. I would say citizensonlyvoting.com. I would encourage everybody to take a hard look at it and do what they can to promote it. Thank you.
Trustee Lawler?
No comments tonight.
Trustee Lawrence?
I would like to remind our residents that if they're interested in learning more about how the village works, the different departments, how decisions get put up in front of the board, I would encourage you to think about joining the Citizen Academy that we're sponsoring this year. The deadline to apply for that is this Friday, September 5th. There will be 7 meetings. They'll be on Thursday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30. And September 18th, Thursday, September 18th, will be the first date of those meetings. I strongly encourage anyone who might be interested to take a serious look and think about spending a couple hours of your time for just 7 weeks. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Lawrence. Trustee Milani?
I have no comments this evening. Thank you.
Trustee Leafblad?
I just always like to thank the village staff for their efforts, always putting together these presentations and providing information so that there's always a good flow of information to the residents of Orland Park, and also to the residents who speak up about things that are important to them, whether it be pickleball courts or splash pads or whatever it may be. I'm grateful for our residents who come and share their thoughts with us, because it provides us always the opportunity to make the best and most informed decision.
All right, thank you for that. Just a couple of quick comments. Excited that we're making progress on our commissions. We're going to continue to fill that out. And George and I spoke today to start assigning staff to support the individual commissions so we can get that moving. The goal is to, by the end of September, have all these new boards and commissions formed and get them underway as a way to continuously seek feedback from the people that we serve. And then, I was very pleased with the conversation tonight, Ray. We're under a deadline, but I think it was a pretty healthy dialogue. And so as you go forward, let's find, and we've talked to George about this as well, how do we get better at getting input from our residents when we're doing things like park design, park input? So, there's clearly some divergence of opinions, just like we saw with Dugan, but let's press forward and we'll keep making sure we listen. So I appreciate what you do. On that, I think we have some executive session items.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Lawrence?
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for discussion of the minutes of closed meetings and the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the village.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Lawrence?
Aye.
Trustee Milani?
Aye.
Trustee Lawler?
Aye.
Trustee Leaflet?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Mayor Dodge?
Aye.
Okay, we will proceed to executive session at 8:55.